Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 44th edition of the webinar on the storage and handling knowledge series, something that we have been doing for the last more than 3.5 years now. Today is a very exciting day because in all these sessions, we have covered the various aspects of what goes in the intralogistic space. Today, we are going to sort of sum it up in a very interesting topic, which is dynamic inventory management in the VUCA world. But before that, let me tell you something about storage and handling knowledge series, what it is all about. This series is something to give back to the industry of what we have learned over the last many decades in the intralogistics domain. As I said, we started this initiative more than 3 years ago. And at that point in time, we were all, as we know, we were digitally connected and we were reaching out to people to share various information. And in that journey, we created this platform and it has become a very thriving platform so far with more than 1,000 companies connected on this platform. We have various industry leaders who have graced this platform with their knowledge based on their rich experience. We have almost like 5,000 unique people who have at various points in time registered or been part of this event. So in a way, this is a small sort of but small steps movement that we are trying to create in this space to spread the knowledge and make India a global superpower by looking at the logistics domain. So today, it's my pleasure to introduce our expert for today's session, Mr. Praveen Sharma. Uh, so a quick introduction about myself. I'm Abhishek Chaturvedi. I am representing Godrej Material Handling. I've been in this domain for almost 24 years now, and it's my absolute honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Praveen Sharma on this platform. So, Mr. Praveen is the head of logistics and distribution in Godrej and Boyce, and he's a techno-commercial enthusiast and responsible for warehousing and logistics of plants and hub warehouses. He comes with a rich experience of 19 plus years in various facets ranging from finance, logistics, and technology. And apart from core operations, he leads various technology, infrastructure, and cost optimization projects in supply chain. I don't think we could have got a better expert to talk about the topic today, which is uh, inventory management in a VUCA world. So welcome, Praveen. Welcome
Thank
to
you so
the
much.
show. So just to quickly set the context, when we talk about a dynamic inventory management, we are actually talking about variety, complexity, and volume. Okay. So to set the ball rolling, can you dwell a bit on the complexity part first before we move ahead?
So first of all, thank you so much, to provide me a platform where we can discuss such a important and critical subject. And why I say that, because supply chain now today, it has become a very integral part on the strategic intent of any business. So, and it becomes more critical and strategic in the world, in the environment, which is very ambiguous, full of complexities and also uncertainty. You would have seen in the recent 2, 3 months where agitations from divers were there. There were agitation from the farmer, which is ongoing. It can stand still the whole supply chain. And if I go back 2 years back, you would have noticed in the COVID, where availability was very important. Forget about the all efficiencies of the supply chain when we talk about the sheer availability was an issue. So now it becomes very important in such an environment, how we create a agile network. So that is very important, in our all logistics service provider, as we are also for Godrej, as from where I come. So we need to be very agile in creating that network. So how we create our spaces, how well we utilize it, how we make our workforce very productive, how we use all those technologies which are there to be provide these services day in day out in this environment which we talk about. And now question on the complexity, I'll just give you certain statistics. You will, I think all the audience will know it better, how complex is a journey of a logistics service providers or a logistics professional. So the overall logistics business is around $400 billion approximately, which constitutes around 14% of our GDP.
Wow.
So this is such a huge industry. And if I take an example of a company which is around $2 billion company, maybe which are diversified as a Godrej, it every year it will touch more than 1 lakh SKUs, which will be stored in 6 million warehouses all across country, and maybe handling inventory more than 1,000 crore. Uh, Executing the orders of in the around 25,000 trucks every day on around more than 18,000 pin codes to reach the customers, handling thousands of workforce, thousands of business partners. And when I talk about, if I move to the e-com and all, these transactions will be in multi-flow. So you can understand, how complex the whole situation is. And middle of all this thing, we need to understand the evolving needs and expectation of the customer as well, because that is the one thing, we all are here, to provide that the strategic help or maybe an important thing, in this overall ambiguous part.
Right.
So this is a kind of a complexity I think, we are in right now, and solutions are built to cater the customer.
I mean, I think that's a very fantastic context that you have said. Now, I just catching on to that interesting statistic of 1 lakh SKUs you said. Like, when I talk about this number, what is the variety within that, and how do you manage that with changing customer expectations?
Right.
And I think both are interrelated in a way.
Right, so good. If I talk about variety, I think classify into 3 areas. One, you rightly said, is a product. SKU what you said. Today, if I take an example of Godrej only, we are executing a 10-tonner MHE and a small, maybe a 1 kg packet of locks, and even some grams of spares. So this is the kind of a variety, everywhere, all players are dealing with.
Right.
The second thing, which is a market. Now today, market is also full of variety. It's an old traditional. Earlier, there was a simple from your factories, it will go to your distributors, then retailers, and so on and so forth. But today your market is huge.
Mhm.
You have omni channels. You have your e-com and various new platforms of the market, where you are to, and their expectations is totally different.
Mhm.
And even in the product also, if you see the handling practices and all those regulations are totally different. And how to manage all these things in one warehouse is always be a challenge with overall on each and every logistics service provider. A third, which is very important, if you are calling on the variety, is a customer. But the customers also, when we are dealing in this dynamic world, it's totally different. As I told you, today the expectation of the customers is huge, and I think the players like Zepto, Zomato, they have taken the expectations to the another level. People are delivering the goods in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Right.
So this is the kind of expectation which is there for each and every person. And the customers are totally different. It can be described in various demographies. That's fine. But you have an individual customer, you have an institutional customer, you have B2B transactions, you have a customer transactions, B2C transactions. It's a huge. So in this, all this variety and this complexity, one thing which I say that it is very explicitly said is an expectation part, which you touched.
Mhm.
For expectation is very clear from customer. Expectations is very clear from our businesses where we are catering these services.
Mhm.
They need this always when it's a discussion on the in strategic intent, we say that these are only divided in three parts. What customer requires
Mhm.
is only three things, which we have classified into three. Velocity, visibility, and variability. Now, when I talk about velocity, is the speed on that, we are executing our all orders, right from the origin when the order is done and till that execution. They require an X and a speed which I was talking about it, that Zepto and all the world, which we are creating. The speed is required to execute all the orders. And when we are executing this in that speed, and adhering to the commitments of the customer, the second part comes the visibility. I'll tell one thing very important here is in a whole supply chain, there are two things which is moving simultaneously. Like one is your material, which is moving from your factories to the all customers where it is required. And the second is the information. And any way where there will be a disturbance between this information and your material, you will often find yourself in a trouble or escalation wherein everything all those energies comes to solve that. So this is very important today. People requires that visibility, where exactly the order is, how you are treating my order, and what kind of insights we can take from that visibility. And when I'm talking about visibility, not only for the customers but the internal customers as well as we are the logistics service provider. We need to provide those information on various fronts. So visibility also in a very big expectations from the overall on our customers, if I talk about. And the third part, which is very important, when we want to deliver the goods and we are providing that information, the other factor which customer wants that it should be very competitive. If that particular product is not competitive, it will not be of a great advantage, and the strategies which we have built around will not be any objective. So that is my variability. This is another V, this 3V which we talk about, as I talked about velocity, visibility. Third is a variable. Today, if you talk to any business, they will always say that we need all the transactions of the logistics to be variable. There is no room for the fixed cost. Why they are saying? Because in such a competitive environment, if you want to provide a product at a very competitive price to the customer, we need to see how we can optimize the overall thing. So this is what if these are the expectations and we build our strategy around 3 V's at the strategic intent, I think we will be a fairly, I'll say, at a very, very comfortable ground in this ambiguous point.
Right, right. So, Praveen, you have very lucidly put this question about variety in terms of velocity, visibility, and variability. I would just like to understand in terms of the business dynamics. We are talking about a VUCA world, okay, where in anticipation of something big happening, you plan. You look at lag indicators, you plan. Okay. But something then where some disruption happens. There is some geopolitical situation changes, some sanctions come in place and all that. So how does the industry play this balancing game of managing the investments, but at the same time not curtailing the investments when looking at this variety and in the midst of this VUCA world?
So now, this question takes me to the basics. Basics of the logistics and warehousing, where we have to start, because from anywhere, if you have to create your overall process, your resources, your warehouses, or your workforce, you need to start from where you started. So any complex problem, you will find there will be a very, very basic solution to it. Now, when I'm talking about that, if there are 3 important resources required in our overall logistics and warehousing, one is a warehousing space. Well, second is my overall workforce, and third is my transportation. So I'll leave a little bit my workforce and transportation aside. We'll talk about warehousing, as you touched on how we create spaces there. So now, when we are talking about warehouses, we need to understand 2 things: where I have to set up my storing places, and how we have to design my warehouses. So then this, the most important is my network design. Today, because as I told, my supply chain is in the center of the all strategic thing. Today, all those, we need to find out the perfect place for our warehousing design. And it should be totally aligned to the business strategy. If my overall business is like that, we need our warehouse is closer to the customer, or we want to become a very speed is the main essence, then we are closer to the customer and we will create our network like that. But if you want to have a benefit of consolidation, where I feel that I can cater my business from the one place, as we have done for MHE also, for that example, we are distributing spares all over India, so we can design that. So today, we need to be very flexible, when we are thinking as a logistics service provider, what is there, what is the intent of the overall business. So this is this is a very important part. And now, with the GST role, and I think a decade before, it gives us an advantage to build a network according to our center of gravity. When I'm talking about a center of gravity, we need to understand from where my material is coming, where is my inward, and where is my outward. If you create a design, and today there are a lot of technology available to ascertain that what will be the best network designed for your strategy and also considering your inward and outward movement. So this is the way the first step. The second part is my warehousing. Now warehousing has evolved. I'll say I think again I should give a benefit to the e-coms, Amazons and Flipkarts of the world. That's how they have explained that what is the importance of the good warehouse. So there's a huge journey from the godowns to smart warehousing. So and if you just go back 10 years back or 12 years back, everywhere you will find small godowns, which will create a cluster and you will form a big warehouses. Very less spaces were there, So then efficiency and everything was also very low. With this, when I'm talking about in the journey from your uh, godowns to smart warehousing, there are 3-4 things which becomes very important. One is we are creating an infrastructure such a way that it will improve our efficiency, our overall effectiveness, turnarounds, and also increases our inventory, hygiene, and everything, where I can cater my customers well. So here I will believe divisions like MHE, our storage solution are also helping overall business to create this kind of a business competition or a competitive advantage to all the businesses to take an advantage of this. So this is very important part. And I just want to give you an example here. We did a very one small simulation here. And maybe I'm digressing a little bit, but it's very important to understand how you create your warehousing design and all. So when you are going vertical space and utilizing your overall warehousing, and these MHEs and they are also on that cost, because it's a good investment, as you said, we need to understand when the investment we need to be done. So these are also definitely there is a huge investment involved. But we have done one simulation and which I feel key, like if my rentals are more than 15 rupees square feet, and we are able to utilize 50% of the space alone. So we add 50 spaces by adding my racking system and take a help of MHEs. The break even will come or payback will come, and that too discounted payback. When we are considering all risk-free rates and all within 2 years. And so this is a kind of a power of overall from the smart working. I can say that we were able to save around 20 crores indirectly to the bottom line of the company by this. And we are able to reduce 10 lakh space, 20 lakh space from one of the clusters. Right. So this is what is going on. And today, we have understood, because as you rightly said, we should be aware where to invest. Right. So if this kind of classic cases, if we can showcase to the industry, we will be in a better place to understand where the investment needs to be done and how agile my network.
So at this point, I would turn to the audience just to remind them that this particular platform, what Praveen just spoke about, the various aspects of warehouses, MHEs, and all that. So you can subscribe to this channel and you can go through all the previous videos which talks in detail about these concepts by industry experts, by manufacturing experts, and that will give a lot of insight to you on these topics as well. And one more thing, as we are chatting along, please put your questions in the chat box and we will take it at the end of the session. So continuing this interesting discussion, Praveen, I would like to take you a bit deeper into the topic that you just said, go down to warehouses. What sort of know-how you think is spreading around now? And how you think is this impacting the supply chain in totality?
Yeah. So as I briefly touched on those points, what are the benefits? I'll just call out the few benefits, which is very evident. Which there was a mindset that whenever we take our material high, you will lose on the efficiency, but it is not. With this project, when we initiated, we learned a lot of things. The first of all thing is the best you increase your productivity at a different level. when you are consolidating things, there is a huge potential lies, where my productivity is increased. I'm able to move out my material fast because with the benefit of this overall advanced equipments, and also with the help of the technology, you can totally double your productivity. So one is a step. Second, your dependability on manual interventions goes down. So that is also another thing, because moving forward, we could see that there is a huge challenges on the labor portion also, on a part also, because there are a lot of skill development is happening, and people and the you will see the scarcity in the labor. So dependency on the labor part will also reduce, where and it becomes very important, because there will be certain places where you will find this scarcity. Maybe some places because of the ecosystem which we have built it not, but some places will. So dependability is also go down. And the third part, which is an element, because I said you need to be competitive at the cost. And if you can create such a big projects where you can get and contribution to the bottom line, it is immense help to the overall business. And the another thing, which I the fourth part is a flexibility, which is very important today, as this topic is also talking about those times, which needs a flexibility, critical time. It adds a lot of flexibility.
Right.
When today, there was a era where everything was on the ground, no views. So today I'm flexible in the same area. If I'm taking a benefit of the two overall cubic space, it gives me a flexibility to absorb those ups and downs in the sales, which today is a demand. So it provides a lot of flexibility. So it's a four-dimensional benefit. It is not a one-dimensional benefit in going through this. So I feel, I guess this needs to be taken at a little bit more aggressively.
Right.
Today also, I feel that we are a little conservative on these aspects where we want to invest on warehousing. Not talking about e-com. E-com is structurally made like that because they are designed. Their overall strategy is through warehousing and logistics. But if I talk about the overall industry, other industries, this should be taken at a little bit higher pace, because we feel there is a worth. And this is professional like all of us. We need to tell the management what is the benefit of us and how we can create, I'll say, a value by investing in this, and showcase what benefits are. So this is the four-dimensional benefit I talked about, and so this is the way I think future will move.
So, what I hear from you, Praveen, is that investing in warehouse is the smart way of moving ahead and doing this inventory management in VUCA world. So that gives you these four benefits, of which one of them is flexibility. So when you talk about investing in warehouses, the quality of the warehouse also becomes a very critical element. And I think over a period of time, the know-how on the flooring part,
Yes.
the know-how on the ecosystem around that, sustainability, lighting, water harvesting, all these
Absolutely.
things are coming in. So, what are your views on that?
So, smart warehousing is overall a very big project, a very big discussion, which people can have. But now, when I talk about smart warehousing, yes, infrastructurally, you require all these things, and which makes you would have seen, there are different grades of the warehouses. A plus will have all those things, which you just narrated, full of all sustainable practices, even rainwater harvesting, and also, on the flooring part, whatever it is. So, but there are two other elements which is very important in a smart warehousing. Is a technology. Are we absorbing and adapting those technology which will create those benefits which I was talking about? So, so in this also becomes a very integral part. Today, I think if only if I create a warehouse and I don't adopt a technology, I don't think so it will be qualified as a smart technology. Or if I provide one warehouse which is having all A grade specifications, but I don't have equipments there, and it will not qualify for this. So all those 4-dimensional benefits, it won't come.
Right.
So it is an overall ecosystem which you have to build, where technology will also play a very important part, where my all sustainable practices will also play an important part, and my equipments and the storage solutions will also take a part. Then only we will be able to have those benefits around. If it is done in isolation, I can understand there are always constraints of investment, but the real advantage will come if we go on all the 4 directions and take a benefit of.
Right. So yeah, you touched upon a very important aspect about technology. Okay. I would like to dwell a bit on this part because there's always that dilemma between technology as a disruptor of employment. At the same time, technology as an enabler to increase productivity and efficiency. So, what are your views in addressing this dilemma?
So, another complex question you have asked. So, I don't say that it is a deterrent. It will always be an enabler. Technology will always be an enabler, and more people will use it. They will have a more potential work around it. It will your human race will always be there because technology will be driven by people. So setting this question on a right direction, what I'll say, let's see, in this supply chain, technology is a very important part. As I told you, the intent level and expectation level visibility was a very important expectations from. So how you want to create a visibility is through technology. Now technology, as you said, that yes, it comes with a hefty price, but good thing what is happening all around in the last 3-4 years, there are a lot of startups which has come in over the years. We were having few people who were giving a total integrated solution in a ERP, and they were having a lot of constraints. Today, it is little, I'll say, disintegrated. There are solutions available for each and every problems of the company, and the integration capability through APIs has become very strong. Right. So all the softwares and different softwares are talking to each other and coming to the common objective.
Right.
So if I divide the technology in the overall sphere of a supply chain, so ERP will always be a core, which will be required because it touches all the points of all the functions of the industry. The first part which becomes important is planning and forecasting for supply chain, and various SNOP tools are available there, which can solve the problem of that particular part. And after that, there is another WMS, which helps to improve, as I told you, in smart, from go down to smart. Your WMS is in a software and a tool which helps improve your overall hygiene, overall productivity, and so on, and dependability of the people that you have got. And the third part is TMS. Now, TMS is also a solution where it provides, it helps to automate your planning and route optimization through AI and ML enabled programs, and also track and trace right from my manufacturing to the customer, and also automates the whole payment part, which helps to improve the working capital of the transporters, and then in turn, you can reduce the overall freight rates and all. So it gives, now what I was talking about, there are 4-5 tools available. What problems you are having, you can directly implement that and start taking the benefit. And all these 4 things can interact each other with the API integration, which I have already told.
Right.
And the kind of a dashboards and insights which you get, it is immense. It is immense because one side you are giving a visibility, but you are getting also a lot of insights. It's actionable insights where you can take a decision on all the things, whether it is for delivering customer experience, where maybe it provides you a good feedback, how we are catering our customers, and also give insights to improve the overall cost.
Right.
And another thing, which I believe technology is also helping on our sustainable costs. This is a one topic, which is also important. Here, technology is also helping because when I'm talking about involving in the planning and all, it customize your planning and it optimize your planning, which will lead to save on the fuel. So this is all technology. It's a very, very powerful and very, very, I'll say, important part in supply chain going ahead. And we have just started. I'll say, I guess there are a lot of things which will evolve.
Right.
AI, ML, and people these days are talking about a lot of other things as well.
Right.
Blockchain and so on. There are so many new technologies every time is coming, and I guess we are in a safe hands, and we should leverage this particular lever, in supply chain if you have to make a success and also fight in this environment.
So I'm really happy that we are having this discussion because this topic is so wide, Praveen, when we talk about dynamic inventory management in VUCA world. So what we have done so far in our conversation, because at the end of the day, there should be some takeaways for the audience also. So what we have very beautifully done, we have spoken about the complexity, we have spoken about variability, we have spoken about visibility, velocity, and variability. And then we also have finally, after setting the context, we spoke about like investing in smart warehouses is something which is critical for this inventory management. Then we spoke about technology enablers that they are important for you to take care of the variabilities in this business. Now, I would like to touch upon which I personally believe is the core people. So, how do you look at people or that very interesting human resource? Yeah. To be evolving in this space and in terms of skills, availability. And let me just build on this question a bit. See, the demographics are changing over the day. Yeah. A driver's son may not want to become a driver. Okay. A picker's son may not want to become a picker. A picker, he's educating his son and daughter so that they go and live a different life, maybe in a different work function. So, over a period of time, how do you think this is going to impact this? Notwithstanding what we spoke about so far, warehouse, technology, and all that, how is human resource going to evolve?
Very interesting question, and I guess a very relevant answer. Now, so in this overall challenge, what I foresee, if I divide in two parts, one is a workforce which is driving all transportation, a driver community. A second is my workforce which is working in the warehouses. So I feel there is a less challenge on the other part in a warehousing because I told you that dependency is reducing because of the lot of technology intervention and also the way the overall ecosystem we are building and the government is also building towards warehousing development. I don't feel so much challenge there because here you are also imparting certain skillful training and a lot of things to them where they also feel little high on the society when you are working in the warehouse and the education is little bit you are exposed to the technology and all I feel real dear slowly the progress is happening that way where dependency is also going down and the skill level is also going. But yes, the topic which you have touched, the real concern is the driver. And I'll just give you one fact. Right now, also 30% of the vehicles are just stranded because of the scarcity of the drivers. This is a huge number I'm talking about. You talk to any transporters, you will say that some of the vehicles are just, and this had added to the fuel. And if you would have seen the overall political drama and all which happened, and there are certain things which we have to accept and we have to do some action at the ground for drivers. Today, we have not made this profession very attractive in India. If you just compare through the West, there are a lot of people who will go and take this profession as a driver, and it is. But in India, it is the most attractive. It's a saying that मुझे कुछ नहीं बनना है तो मुझे मैं driver बन जाता हूँ. This is something which is there, and there are a few communities who are still driving. There are 3-4 parts in India where 60 to 70% of the drivers are coming. There is a pool in Rajasthan, there is a pool in UP, and there is some pool in Bihar. Okay. The biggest community of the drivers are there. But yeah, as you rightly said, if you talk to them and they also don't want there. So why it is happening? One is I told you that it's not attractive. Second, it's not safe. Mm-hmm. The safety on for them, while they are they are on the road. Third is education. People are not educated. All people, because nobody, the guy who is educated is joining this. And third is maybe the overall environment which we have given to them on infrastructure. If people are driver are there on the road, what kind of a structure for safety and overall for their easiness, what we have built. So there we are lacking. Now I think both at I think government level and at our corporate level, we need to think about this community. Otherwise, you could have seen the power of drivers. The whole country was standstill. If we need to see how we have to improve, but we can start in a very small way. Like today we can have a good restrooms in the warehouses. When people are coming, we need to give them some respect. Correct. Maybe food for eating when they are here. So these are the small things which we can start. And also so if I talk about the infrastructure, as a truck is also improving. Government has given an order that AC is must. So which is very important thing. Otherwise, you could see the condition of that overall of truck, how it is. So it is also improving. So there are certain good points also. The government is also thinking towards them. Right. But I think it should start from corporate. Corporate should take a responsibility, as we have also started a journey where we are addressing this problem. And there are good transportation network which they are building towards this, how we uplift them. Because dependency of driver won't go. That autonomous vehicle is very far away. It's very far away. Right. So we need to understand that this is a very important topic. And I think everybody, people who are listening, they will start doing a little thing towards it by giving them respect and good shelter, good food.
Right. No, I completely buy that point, because instead of talking about the end game, which may lie many years away, we can start today by at least creating that basic human infrastructure of good washrooms, good restrooms, yes, and treating them with respect. So that's a fair point. Just to, as a add-on point, we are talking about human resource. What are your views on gender diversity? Because this space has generally been male heavy. Right. What do you think how is it changing, and what can be done to further encourage that change?
Yeah, so this is another topic which we were having a discussion of week back only, how we create that environment. This is just also go back to the environment. And as I told you, when you are building a smart warehousing, automatically, these things will come. People, and there are certain warehouses which is totally handled by women these days. Right. You will find women supervisors, even women drivers also. Right. You would have seen certain, there were two ladies from Himachal Pradesh who are truck drivers. Right. Right. And so I was so proud. I am also from Himachal, so I was saying, yes, this is the way to go. Right. And see, the moment gender diversity is there, your discipline also goes up. I'm a very strong believer in it. Right. Your processes and everything becomes very strong. Right. And today I don't feel that women can't take these challenging routes. And the way we are building overall ecosystems in our warehousing areas, it is just a start. I'll say, within next 2-3 years, you will find 50% of the population in the warehouses will be females. And people are very sensitive to it. They are working towards it, and we are also working on it, and we are finding that how we can increase that. And the other way that there's also question, as we were talking about on the labor force, what will be the future? Right. So if you create an equilibrium, I guess we will not have any problem at all. And I guess still we are at a very nascent stage in that still, because this is if you see, warehouses are also going far from the city, 15-45 kilometers or 50 kilometers away from the city. Right. But then you have to develop a programs where the I think population around the warehouses, correct, they can join the workforce. So it's a good topic, but yes, I think we are doing a lot on it. And every field, I was talking to maybe logistic service providers like Mahindras and all, Mahindras and even Maersk, they have a complete a program for that. They want to create a warehouses which is totally run by women. So this, I guess, you will find a sea change in next 2-3 years.
That's very interesting. So, so far what we have spoken is about anything and everything related to the industry doing something. Let me just switch to government initiatives and see how they're impacting and how we can further that cause. So as you know that infrastructure status has been given to the logistics industry, then there has been a launch of Gati Shakti to encourage multimodal transport, and then government has also come up with national logistics policy to bring in multiple changes in this industry of good quality warehouses, some standardization, digitization. All these things are being encouraged by government. And then we have something called as PLI, production linked incentive, to boost manufacturing. So a lot of things are being done to improve the supply chain capability of the country, so that overall objective of bringing down that logistic cost from 14% to 7-8% is achieved. Now, where do you see industry connecting to these initiatives? Are they connecting, or they are just like theories right now?
So another interesting question, very close to me. See, government has putting a lot of effort in. They have realized that 14% contribution to the GDP is very high.
Yeah.
And if you compare with the developed countries, it is around 7 to 8%. And a 6% delta is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. So I think a very constructive work is going on to it. I guess on if I talk about the infrastructure front, road corridors are there. I think around 50 to 60% work is already done.
Yeah.
Railway corridors, 2 corridors are it's already done. They're also working on the Sagarmala project, where you can have a benefit of the waterways as well.
Right.
So and in the logistics policy, there are a lot of say you told that they are building multimodal warehouses, creating ports to establish that kind of ecosystem on the infrastructure part. And the other front of the technology part also, they are creating a lot of. We'll say in ULEP, they want to integrate every whole transport community together to get a benefit of uh, those consolidations and everything. Now, in this whole thing, what I feel, the two things which is very important. First of all, there are certain things which is in work in progress, and there are certain things which are already there. Now, as a logistics service provider, we need to be very vigilant to take a benefit and take a leverage, all those things, which are coming there. And we need to be there at that level key. And the moment, it is introduced, we are taking a benefit of it. So sometimes what happens, we lose. If you see, every time the review system happens on the performance. Anytime, you go to anything, it will always be a review of a performance. What was said and what is it? But what was that opportunity which was there, which was missed? So there is nothing. So I believe that today, as a logistics everywhere, we have to create that pool where the opportunities are also tracked. And are we able to take that? And now, when I was talking about building a network, now with all these corridors which is happening, you can create a mega warehouses in between and recreate your source supply chain. This is there, and we are doing that right now. And I think maximum industries, and when I'm talking to my peers, they are in the sphere of the consolidations. And wherever in it, the better road connectivity is there and all. And see the connectivity to port, it is also becoming very nice. So one part is this. Second part, which I feel will be a biggest hurdle to get this 14% to 8%, is the part load management.
Right.
So today, why I require these kind of awarenesses? Why I require closer to customer and all? Because I don't have a good part load function and overall in India. If I compare to the other place. Today, if I have those capabilities, I can directly ship a lot of material from my plant to directly to the customer.
Right.
So I'm not saying players are not there. Players are there, but you would have also seen in the live examples on what time. Sometimes there is a issue of service levels. There is there issues of traceability. Somewhere is of handling. There are a lot of things, but I have not found till now a best solution for a part load right now. And I'm constantly discussion with all the players how you can improve. But I can see one ray of hope with this ULIP and overall, because when you will be connected through this overall government portal and all, resources will be connected, the better visibility will be there, and with those all ports and being warehouses in between, we will improve in this part load management, and I guess, and then maybe this burden which we are talking about will reduce, and it will give a lot of benefit to the, at least for the people who are in a manufacturing business, and or in other industries where they can easily adhere the commitments of the through the partner. So these are the two things, important things in which I want to place, where government is really working hard, and it is on us how we take that opportunity and whenever it is there with us.
So, what I hear from you that the initiatives are quite interesting and very useful, and industry is taking benefits of those initiatives, but still there is work in progress. So, if I just try to convert this into a very real life example, say Mumbai to Delhi transit time, what it was say 5 years ago and what it is today. So, if you could just throw some light.
Yeah. So now this is a good thing, which is there now. How we take advantage of this. So if I compare, my transit time was around average transit time per day was around 300 to 350 kilometers.
Okay, right.
And today it has become 450 to 500. And now what benefit we can take?
Increase.
Yeah. So what benefit people can take on this? There's a benefit for both the players, for transportation community also, and for all the logistics service providers and the business also. So there are two costs for a transporter. One is your variable, that is a fuel, and another is fixed cost. If I'm able to improve my turns, I'll be getting a benefit. And I tell you one thing, that transportation has given this particular advantage, whatever advantage they have given, they have shared with the businesses. If we are getting this advantage, maybe I'm sharing this fixed cost to you, that you can be competitive in the market. So this is what the opportunity came, and we need to understand. And one more thing, when you are reducing your transit time, it helps you to reduce your overall stock also.
Right.
The real benefit is there. Today, when I know that I can reach within now 1 day or 2 days, I will not keep that buffer of inventory. So it gives a huge benefit, in the working capital of it. So this we have taken advantage, and I am very sure that each and every logistics service provider would have taken it.
Right. Interesting. So, before we go to audience question and your closing comments, as I'm trying to drive some action charter where people can take away from this talk. So, I'm just trying to list down some bullet points.
Yes.
You may add to that. So, after setting the context of the complexity and variability, we spoke about one, investment in smart warehouses is the way to go. Second, the technology within that, which is like different types of material handling equipment, storage systems, ERP systems, those things have to be there to enable. Then we spoke about human resources, where we spoke about one concern about the driver community, where some action has to be taken, and something we said an immediate action can be to give respect to them, create basic hygiene facilities. Then we also spoke about gender diversity being encouraged in this space so that we are able to look at a bigger pool of resources. Then we spoke about leveraging government initiatives and the way the infrastructure has now improved. How do we convert that into actual objective actionable targets? Okay, so these are the 5-6 takeaways for the industry from this talk. Anything else we would like to add to this? If I missed anything.
So I think you have covered all, but a takeaway from my side will be, we have talked about the intent level, what you have to do at a transactional level.
Right.
So I always talk this to my team. You always need to understand the 3 C's in it. The first C is customer. Whatever you are doing,
Absolutely.
it should be connected to the customer.
Right.
If this will benefit customer, you do it,
Correct.
or otherwise it is better to find out a new solution to it.
Right.
Second is very important, that is a compliance. As Because compliance, if you are not compliant to safety, compliant to governance, compliant to the rules and regulations authorities, you will face challenge at all from the continuity of the business.
Right.
So this is also another part in our transaction level you need to understand. And the third thing, is a cost which we have already talked. We need to optimize the cost to make it competitive for the customer. So if you can create your transactional strategy in these 3 Cs, I think you are sorted in the industry. So at the intent level, we talk about 3 Vs, and at the transactional level, I'm talking about 3 Cs.
Right.
So this is you can take as a takeaway from my side of all those things.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So let me go to some audience questions. I think they would have had a lot of queries. So one of the questions which is coming is about return logistics. Like in this entire discussion, we spoke about supply chain, but we didn't touch upon the return logistics, which also is a big part. It can be like any ways, customer rejecting or accidents or whatever.
So when I was talking about a part load, I covered this point.
Okay.
So now return logistics is also a huge issue here overall. And now the dependency on the return logistics is again on the part load management.
Right.
Okay. Right. Yes, and this is a very important aspect in overall logistics. And wherever we have seen people failing is on the logistics front, is on the return loads.
Right.
Everywhere we have seen, and this is totally directed to the customers. I'll say a dissatisfaction. So this we have seen, but what we can do here is first of all a very clear communication with the customer. This is what we need to explain them. Overall time taken and all. We need not to be very conservative in providing the information to the customer. So this is why where your information plays a very important part. If you are providing the information to the customer at a right time, you will not face these challenges because your part load management is a problem. So now why it is a problem? I'll just tell you. I'm talking about it is a good question. We can deliberate more here. Problem is that any business, unless it becomes an economic sense, it won't move. For part load management to take a decision whether to move material to the next place will always win a dilemma. Whether should I move because my 50% is over, or I should wait for another day, I can consolidate and send. Right. And this calculation, what happens? You are not adhering to the customer's SMS. Right. This is what I have when I was discussing in detail with the people. Why it is happening. Because and then again a part load means you are consolidating a lot of loads and sending. But still because everywhere you are not able to send load collectively, there will be a certain problem. Right. But now the another part is in returns, because return is your only, I think, 1 or 2% of your overall logistics spent. I think sometimes we also get a lot of thing into the cost part. Where I feel that's why I was telling the 3 Cs. Who was at the top? Customer. If you have to pick one, customer and compliance will always come first. So somewhere there are certain places where you have to keep your cost aside and make things. If you have to send one small vehicle, empty vehicle to the customer to pick the material, we should do it. So sometimes we create our own webs around and we get fixed.
So another thing which is coming is in terms of when we talk about setting up warehouses and all that, what about the work-life balance, especially when the warehouses are far off and the infra around that, reaching there, staying there, or something like that? Your views on that?
So as I think very usually we touch this point also because your warehouses are going far. So now this is another factor that my smart warehousing will have. Now when people will be productive, my overall timings will go down, and I feel I think these are unsung heroes. I know is a chosen profession where people are taking a lot of time. Not any warehouse you will go, people will always put there, 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours there, and 10 hours in this, and then again, travel back to there. But I feel that adopting technology and then you'll be able to work in shifts as well, staggered shifts and all, and people can come back early to the house. So this is the very important part, and this is the reason I am saying we should adopt smart warehousing fast, that at least that we make our warehousing so attractive that every gender can work there, and with that kind of stability which we are talking about, and balancing our lives uh, with work and life balance.
So there's a very interesting. It's a
Hmm.
single line question, but I got the context of it, so I'll build on
Yes,
that.
yes.
So the difference is being asked between hub and spoke model and point to port. So let me just build it up a bit. We have
Yeah.
time of 5-6 minutes.
Yes, sure.
So see, earlier it was like pre-GST, you had warehouses in every state to take care of the taxation part.
Yeah.
Post GST, people are looking at consolidation and hub and spoke model and all that.
Right.
But again, then there is like you spoke about Zeptos and Swiggies of the world, with hyper local becoming the norm. And again, people are talking about smaller warehouse nearer to the customer and all that. So this journey of multiple locations to consolidation to again multiple locations. So what is the right formula?
So there is nothing right and wrong in it. I'll just tell all the models will have their advantages and disadvantages. As maybe in the conversation you would have heard that your distribution strategy should be aligned to your business strategy. What exactly business proposition is? If we have designed our overall business in such a way that I can consolidate at one place and deliver it. Maybe in that cases, maybe your stock will be there at some your stockist level, retailers level, or distributor level, because no business will come up and compromise on the loss of the business. No strategies will be there, if I can reduce my overall consolidation and I'll reduce my, it will hamper my sales. It will never happen. So it is just, if I can give you an example here, how. So uh, for my own industry, uh, we have all kind of solutions available. We have done hub and spoke. We have done direct from plant to customers. Even we have created a separate supply chain, separately for some of the product lines. And also, we have consolidated at one place and given it to all our distributors or ESPs or dealers at one place. So we have done all. Today, the thing is, how dynamic you are, how flexible you are to create. As a logistics provider, we need to understand that. We need to understand the needs and expectations of the business and the customers first, and create the overlay. It's available. That's why I was saying, we need to understand, we need to create a flexible resources that I can provide. So because somewhere, when I'm talking about the cost part more, and I have created a overall network, I'm talking about a sales distribution network, such a way that they are also holding some inventory and they can move, and it will also flourish. So consolidation is good. But somewhere, the if I am in such a situation where I have to place my material at the place of sales, I need to have a spoke models everywhere, and otherwise, I will lose the market. So there is nothing wrong and right. I cannot take one. This is right. This is purely based on the strategic intent of the business.
Absolutely. Last question. This is from my side because I always believe that we are always on both sides of the table. We talk about customers, at the same time we are also customers, and we have our own benchmarks. Uh, I am touching on that point of visibility. So we'll say that our habits have been spoiled by the e-commerce companies of real-time visibility and all that. How do manufacturing companies cater to this expectation of visibility? This is the last question I would like to ask.
So I think we have discussed this part, but this will be totally, by intervention of the technology. You can't create a visibility in such a scale. So one, I can understand if the scale is low, you can have those manual interventions and provide the visibility. But today, with the scale of, when I was talking and giving you example of a 2 billion company, and there are companies in over 10 billions, 20 billions, 100 billions. By not adopting the technology, you can't provide a visibility. Now, visibility from where you need to understand also, you can't throw a lot of visibility to the customer, he will also get irritated. So that is also, we need to have a caution, kind of a visibility it requires. For as a customer, what I require, if I have done an order, when it is coming, and whenever it is promised to me, whether it is falling in that line or not. This is all customer is requiring in a visibility. And the second thing, he requires a product which comes right to him in all squares.
As per the information
set. So this is what it is required. But if I talk about the visibility to the internal stakeholder, it is immense. So customer requires only this, but the internal stakeholders visibility will be a lot of things. You need to create a different dashboards and insights on my challan to bill cycle, bill to deliver. What is how many times what are the maybe effective rates of the different routes. Okay, to take the decisions. What kind of a loadability is there? What kind of impact on the environment I'm creating by reducing the carbon footprints?
Right.
There are a lot of indices we can provide in it visibility as a logistics service provider to the business.
Right.
So this is a power of visibility and technology, which will always help you to take a right decision.
So with that, we are absolute at the end of our scheduled time. Thank you so much, Praveen. I think it was a fantastic and very insightful discussion. And I think in this 60 minutes, we were able to come out with some very key action points also, which would help the industry to at least think about it and implement. So with that, I would end this session with a request to fill in the feedback form to all the audience, which will help us to know how we have done. And also, please put in your expectations on what exactly you would want us to cover in subsequent sessions. With that, we would bring this conversation to a close. Thank you all for your time, and look forward to seeing you again in the next edition of this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.